We are back with B-side Baddies. It's been a little while. I've seen Donna everywhere in the last little bit. Friend, I've seen you on podcasts. I've seen you playing and hosting tournaments. I've been sitting at home not doing anything. I'm joking. I was working on PUBG, but like every time I went online, Donna was doing something. I was like, damn, this girl. When do you sleep?
I actually get enough sleep. It's just that it's because I don't stream full time. So I stream like 3, 4 times a week, which gives me the time to do other stuff, outside of the streams. But yeah, I did host this. Like there was like a Vitality community tournament. Actually, a great idea. I mean, we didn't plan to talk about it, but just like in general to throw it out there. So Vitality, they hosted a community tournament with their partner, sponsor, and it was not to win prize money, but the winners they win a workshop at the Vitality headquarters, and they can work there with their coaching staff and analyst staff and so on. It's like aspiring pros kind of. They're all like around like ESCA mains, so like, nothing like crazy, but I would say high elo players who maybe are like on the right path. And I think that's a good idea. And I really hope that maybe more like sponsors or organizers do stuff like that, because I think it's like really cool that you like aspire people to like try to actually improve rather than just like winning money. And I think it attracts the right people to play this tournament, because there's like always tournaments, like show matches or whatever with like prize monies, and you have like a lot of people who just like play for the money. But here it's like they don't get money, they just like get paid all the expenses, and they can actually get better at the game. And I think that's a cool idea. So yeah, hope to see more stuff like that. And yeah, I had the honor to host it. But you, Sam, I saw you did PUBG, and you're gonna, I don't know if you can say it, like which events you're gonna do next in CS?
Oh, so I can't. Should I? I never
I don't
know
know.
what. Do you know what the problem is? I never know what the rules are. But I want to quickly jump back to what you were saying about that prize. I think that is so sick. I've seen
Mm,
this before in I don't it's a credit card company that does it with Sharks. But they do a
mm-hmm.
thing where you can enter if you are interested in getting into broadcast, you enter, and then the prize is that you get to go on like a workshop where she'll come in and like explain to you like from a broadcast perspective herself, and like directors and producers. So instead of like,
Yeah,
it's not a casting competition where okay, you've won, now you get to cast a game, well done, goodbye. Like you actually get real skills, and that kind of
I think
reminded
that's
me of
amazing.
it. Or like the opportunity just for like if you're a player and you want to get better, but you get a chance, if you're a Vitality fan right now, you get a chance to go hang out at Vitality HQ, if I'm not mistaken, and like work with all of these professionals. That to me is like the best competitions. I remember when I did my first ever Gamescom, it was like my first CS event was like a fan event where basically people entered online, and then they chose like a bunch of finalists who came out. And then what they did is they had these finalists, and they each got put into two teams. And then on the day, the captains of the team, at the time it was when both of them were in G2, was Body and Apex on either side. And then your prize was that they flew you to Gamescom, and you got to go on stage and
That's cool.
play with your heroes as your captains. And I was like, it was one of the coolest things to watch, because for like a lot of us, that's the only time you'll ever get to be on a stage, right? Like
Yeah.
playing CS. So that the moment you started speaking about that, it reminded me, and I was like, we don't do enough cool shit for people. Like just not like it can't just be money. Like there needs to be some cool stuff to help you improve.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. I really hope that more stuff like this is gonna be possible, because yeah, I think like if it's just everything about money, you attract the wrong kind of people, you know?
For sure. But in terms of events I'm working, I mean, I'm sure I
I
can.
mean,
You
I
know
know, but
how
maybe don't leak it. But we're gonna see you at some CS events
you're gonna
soon.
see me soon. Do you think that
Yeah.
like this is something? I mean, it's off topic, but like I never know what the etiquette is, because what happens is they ask you like you presume you wait till there is a like talent announcement thing, but I think talent announcements are dumb. Like I don't know why we do this social media post with everyone's faces. Like who cares?
Yeah.
It's the only time we do it. But then like you know you're gonna be there. Sometimes you're already like on the plane, but I never know if I'm allowed to say anything. So anyway,
Yeah,
apparently we
I
can't
guess
leak it.
better don't leak it. Yeah.
Oh wait,
All
let
right.
me throw this in. You, no, now I'm gonna put you on the spot. Are
Hmm.
we gonna see you at any CS events anytime soon?
So for this year, I don't think so. I was in
No.
talks with broadcasters. So yeah, one was I mean, I think I can say it. Like one was with Fisher, but that didn't work out, unfortunately. And one was with another. Like I'm not gonna say it because they still like kind of like did make the final decision, but I have a feeling that it's not gonna happen, which is fine, I guess. It's just like, that's how it is if you're like, I would say like a rookie and you like, start to enter the scene. You cannot expect to like also for people maybe who want to work at like CS like or esports broadcast in general. It's it's gonna take some time. You're not gonna get hired for everything just because like you got one or two jobs once. And yeah, I mean, there's like a big pool of talents, and I think broadcasters just like tend to rehire people or like take people who had like more experience. So I totally like understand. It's like for me, it's always like a plus and an like optional if I get stuff like this. Because fortunately I have like a lot of other stuff going on, but yeah, I kind of like got a feeling how it is if you're like a broadcast talent and you're like, trying to get a job and there's like, I don't know, 5 other people who want the same job. It's not easy, I'm gonna tell you. Like it's just like, limited spots and there's like too many people who want to do the same job. It's really not easy. So I have like huge respect for people like you also who do that like full time because yeah, it's like it's tough. I think like there's a lot of anxiety going on also, right? If you don't like get hired, if you don't know like what's gonna happen next year and stuff, right?
So for me, I think that I used to lose my mind, and I actually went through a stage where I was like, this is so unhealthy because you're just consistently sitting waiting for people to hire you. You're messaging them all the time. Sometimes no one replies. Sometimes they say the decision hasn't been made, and then next thing the announcement's out. So like, and no one communicates that with you. And
that's really annoying.
It was really bad. And then I used to do that thing as well where I was like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I not doing that someone else is doing? What's wrong with me? Because I think you do naturally do that they're not hiring me. And then I'll be honest, the thing that saved me mentally was starting Feed the Trolls, which was the first Counter-Strike sort of podcast I did. And then branching off into like making my own content. So obviously like doing a lot more on my own channel, starting this with you. Now I kind of go, I'll just work harder on my stuff. Like if they're not like, I have a new philosophy.
It's how it should be.
Yeah, I'm like, and if they're not hiring me, I'll just work harder and be everywhere and be louder because then they can't ignore me, right? Like eventually, if and also if the fans are saying, hey, where is this person? So like the more work you do, the more they say that. But on that topic, I think we should start a petition because I don't know if you watching this, if you know this, but Donna and I have actually never hung out in real life. We've only ever been on the internet together, and we would like to work an event. And I think that we could do such a good job if you made me desk host and you brought her in as interviewer and stage host. Like, tag team it, petition all the tournament organizers, make it happen. This is what I would like. Anyway.
Yeah, I would love that so much. Oh my God. I hope one day it will happen.
It will,
just like so we meet and I think like also because we have this podcast together, like we already know we vibe good and like it would be like so cool also on broadcast, right? Because like we have so many topics together that we talked about, and then you can like so naturally transition stuff into the broadcast, like the communication back and forth. It would be amazing. And the good thing is actually that there's like so many tournaments happening also like at the same time. So I think one day like it has to happen, right? Like one day they can't ignore both of us.
They can't ignore us, but we're also my goal is I'm just gonna make this ladder. Like eventually B-side baddies, they'll be like, damn, we gotta have those 2 women here because that's all anyone wants.
This would be a dream.
That is the plan.
Yeah.
So there you go. But you did mention Fisher. I'm super sad that you weren't there. I was working PUBG, but watching it in the corner of my eye. Don't tell anyone at PUBG. So I was keeping a focus where I could on it. And for me, the highlight, and I love that I could do this in the show, was Fallen bringing his dog to the event. That to me was just the best. All the pictures of the dog.
That was so cute. The first thing I saw, it was like when the dog was in the bag. Oh my God, it was so cute. It was so
I have this
like wholesome.
I found this clip on Furia, which I think is just adorable, which is the dog in the stadium, I believe, watching Fallen in the grand finals. Let me see if I can get this for you. This one for me was just the absolute best. So here we go. This is the little doggo. I'll rewind it a bit so you can hear him barking.
Deus abençoe o seu alimento. Alberto!
How amazing is I don't know who
That's
these
so
streamers are, so like I'm so sorry that I have no idea who you are, but like I love that they all start screaming for Barto when he comes up, and like now he's like a little celebrity all on his own.
That is so sweet. And like I also love Pomeranian. It's a Pomeranian, right?
That is a Pomeranian,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love Pomeranians. They're like always so happy. And they're so cute. And then he was like barking, like, oh my God, it's like he was like cheering. I mean, it's just adorable. I think we need more. We need more like pet content from pros because there's more pros out there who have dogs.
Well, this is so this dog thing is becoming a bit of a thing. So I know that James Banks, like, so I've met Snowy before. So James and his wife travel with Snowy, which is
Mm-hmm.
their, I mean, I'm not quite sure. They will say that Snowy is he's their support dog, but that's Snowy in the
So
Star
cute.
Series trophy. So Snowy sometimes comes to events and then just hangs in the green room, which is actually like my absolute favorite because like when you're working these events, they're long days, they're super stressful. It's kind of fun when you walk into a green room and you can just throw a ball for it. Like I roll on the floor with Snowy like a child. I have so many videos of me just playing, and also a little Pomeranian. It's very
Yeah.
good for your soul. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's a professional working environment, but I enjoy it.
No, it's it's so cute. We need more of them. Do you have any other dogs that you want to show us?
So I do. I also have. So this is. I don't. So I'm gonna tell you. You know what's been a little bit confusing about the dog thing, Donna, is like I really just wanted to share dogs on here, which is what I said to you in the week. I was like, let's just share dogs. But then I know the players that have dogs, and we've spoken about their dogs. But then to get pictures of their dogs, I had to stalk them on the internet, and I felt quite uncomfortable about this because I really feel like I kind of dived into a lot of people's personal lives more so than I should have, because like if I couldn't find pictures, then I was going on like their girlfriend's social media to get a picture of their
Full
dog, and then I
stalker
was
mode.
like, yeah, but then I'm just like, it feels like full stalker and gross. But this one, I feel like this is kind of public, so I don't feel too bad. People might not know that EliGE is dating Goose Breeder. So Goose Breeder plays in CLG Red, and they have a golden retriever called
Aw, a Goldie.
Bailey. She's so beautiful. And
Aw.
I've seen Bailey during COVID. There were clips of Bailey, I think it was in a Pro League event, jumping on the bed behind EliGE. Absolutely adorable. But Bailey for me is quite a special one. And technically two pros, right? So Bailey is a two pro dog.
It's so yeah, and Bailey, I love it because there's like this movie with the same dog, and his name was also Bailey. I don't know if you ever seen it. Oh, you should watch it. I forgot the name. Maybe people, if you know the name, you can type it in the comments. There's like this movie with I think it plays like in the 60s or something, and then some teenager gets a dog called Bailey, and yeah, he kind of like follows it through. It's like, but it's just like a really like touching movie. If anyone knows the movie, please write it in the comments.
Listen, I avoid dog movies like the plague because Home Alone, when I was not Home Alone, Lost, and what was that movie where there were the three dogs and they get lost? There was also a golden retriever in it.
I don't know
It
that.
was I can't remember the name of that movie. It was heartbreaking. And then there was Marley and Me. I don't know if you ever watched Marley and Me. Don't. If you've never watched it, don't watch it. But I don't like sad dog movies. So
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
yeah. And then I have
Yeah.
one more. Well, I actually have two more, but I'll share this one again. Stalker skills on point here, by the way. This is Apex's two dogs at home, just hanging out. This was when he had a little bit of home time.
Yeah, that
And
is
then
so cute.
for anyone that is interested, I'll put a link in the description instead of playing the whole thing. But during this entire stalking moment, I found that a couple of years ago, I think it was in 2022, Liquid actually did an entire video about CSGO dogs. So they got their entire CS team and their coach at the time, which was Moses, to sit down and share all their dogs. And then they put pictures up of the dogs. So I'll put the link in the description. But basically, it's just like 10 minutes of cute dog pictures, if that's your
That is
vibe,
so
with like
sweet.
Stewie and Fallen talking about their dogs. So there you go. Do you have any dog pics though, Donna? Because I feel like I've done all the
Yeah.
dogs.
So, not dog pics, but I have a video and I had to stalk as well. Because so I once it was the first time I interviewed Blade from Navi, like the coach. So it was I am Cologne 2024. Um, and like I interviewed him for One's stream. And we tend to like not always just talk about CS, but also ask personal questions. And I asked him, "Do you have any pets?" And it was kind of funny because Blade is like such a serious guy, and I was like, I didn't know how he would react to that. So I actually was a bit anxious, because he's like always like so serious, and he's just like used to talk about like CS all the time. And then I go like, "Do you have any pets?" And it was also like it was funny because the second time I interviewed Blade was at ESL Pro League playoffs. So last ESL Pro League season, I did like some like side content for EPL, and I was allowed to do a few interviews. So I did like an exit interview with Blade, and I think he remembered me from the time where I asked him, "Do you have any pets?" Because they just lost, but you could see like a little smirk like for a second when I asked him CS questions. And I know that owner watched that interview, and then he started laughing. He said like, "Oh my God, he's thinking of the pet question right now. I know it."
I bet you he was.
Yeah, he was like, "Wait, is that not the pet lady?" And anyway, so he told me back then that he has 3 dogs, 3 small ones. Um, and I tried to find it on his Instagram, but if for people who don't know, Blade's Instagram is only made of pictures with him with a trophy. So there's nothing, no private life, nothing. You see nothing on his Instagram except him holding a trophy. It kind of like became also like a meme in the community, like, when will he post a new picture? But I did a bit of stalking, and I found on Navi's TikTok channel, they made like something like behind the scenes, and I actually found a video of him with his dogs. And I'm so happy that Navi did that. So thank you so much for giving us this content, Navi. Let's check it out. I'll just like turn off the sound because it's like in Ukrainian, I think. And here you see one of his dogs. It's so cute. And it's like so cool to see him like with his dogs like this. Like a totally different side, like from Blade. And let me skip a bit forward if they show it again. But it
Basically,
was just one, like, it
he's
just
human.
was one. Yeah, of course. So it's one of 3. He has 3 of those. I don't know if they're all the same color.
So cute.
But it is adorable. Also, like, it's cool to see like Blade with like such small dogs, because I feel like if you would like ask, like, what do you think, what kind of dog Blade has? I think people would imagine something else, not like 3 fluffy cute dogs. You know what I mean?
For sure. I would imagine him with like a golden retriever or something that's like off on the run, or going for runs all the time and like super smart,
or a German Shepherd or something.
Oh yes, actually, that actually could be fun. Like, what dog do we imagine a pro would have? And we could go through it, but for the most part, I just think it's fun. Like for me, I think seeing Fallen with his dog just adds like a little bit of a human element. Also, I like dogs, so I suppose that helps. I love the serious Counter-Strike analysis we've just done for like the last 15 minutes, right? Just like. But what I have learned is, one, you're an incredible stalker, as am I. The fact that you found that like little clip of the dog in a Navi TikTok where they were speaking Ukrainian is mental. That is next level, Donna. I'm impressed.
Top stalker skills here for both of us.
I just felt bad sharing pictures of players' girlfriends or their like handles online. But there you go. You were like, no, I'm going to go all the way in. I'm going to find this mental, very impressive. But talking about Blade, did you get a chance? So I did not have a chance to watch a lot of Star Series. And I'd kind of like look in the mornings before I had to go to work, but then kind of didn't get a lot of chance to watch it. Did you see any of Star Series at all?
I watched a bit. I watched a few of a little bit here and there because it was like at the same time as Fisher. So I was like, clicking here and there. I did catch some content there and some matches for sure. It's great that Navi won that for them. I think they needed this for a confidence boost, because it's like funny. I was just like on a podcast with Maui and Thorin on their like Snakes and Banter, and I've talked about how shaky Navi has been recently, and yeah, that they've been in kind of like a slump, and it's good that they like, got out of it, at least having one, win. I think it's like good for the mental before the major as well. But yeah, outside of that, like I don't actually want to focus so much like on the games, because you could see like also like Star Series entering the scene again, and I mean it was like not a huge event, obviously, but you could see that their production was online. And I don't know if you caught something of that, but yeah, it was like how to say, yeah, I had to get used to it, to see like hosts and like, like being like at home and hosting the show from home. I haven't seen that for a while now.
I do find it, so I understand when everyone's online, right? So like I just did the Thunderpick World Championship closed qualifiers, and the teams are playing online, so they have, it's like a remote broadcast,
Yeah,
which is all of
exactly.
us from our rooms, which I don't love it, but I get it. Okay, like it
Yeah.
makes sense. But I do find it strange when all the teams are playing on LAN, even if it is a studio broadcast and not a stadium or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's weird to have all the teams there and then have the talent online. Like I'm not quite sure I get that. And I know like during COVID, online broadcasts became really popular, but like I can only talk for myself. When you are working an online broadcast, like it is really weird because you don't really get to talk to like your analysts or your commentators. Like you chat in a team speak really quickly before you go online. But I don't know how much I love remote broadcasts. Like I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I kind of like the synergy when everyone's together. You know what I mean? Like my
Yeah.
favorite is when like even with you and Oni, when you're doing the interviews, you're both at the event. So even though he's off
Yeah.
somewhere, like you'll be off, you'll do your interviews, and then you come back to him, right? And then
Yeah.
there's that
It
interaction.
is a whole different vibe.
It just makes it so much nothing replaces real life human
100%,
interaction, which is
100%.
why Donna and I should 100% work an event together. But
Yes.
like, I don't know if I love it. And you know what worries me is I know times are tough, right? I think that the global economy, things are tough. And I understand that remote broadcasts are far cheaper than flying everyone out to one
Yeah.
place. Like if you think about like ESL Pro League's coming up, right? Like the cost of getting everyone to Sweden, putting everyone in
Yeah, it's
hotels,
high.
feeding everyone, transporting everyone, it's expensive. So it makes sense to go, okay, you know what, we can actually just have the talent at home. Like they still pay, I'm presuming. I know for me, I would still want my day rates, but you're obviously now not paying for my food and my hotel and my flights and all of that.
Yeah.
So I suppose they save money there. So I understand it from like a money saving point of view. I don't understand it from just like a more entertaining product point of view. But
Yeah.
also I know I'm biased. Like maybe it's because for me it doesn't make sense, but like for someone watching at home, I don't know if they can tell the difference. Maybe you can
I
let
could
us
tell
know.
the difference. Yeah, like for me, it just had like I don't know, I felt like it was like not such a big event. It's just like it automatically gives you like the classic online CS vibes. But
Like
I
a
do
tier 2
understand, of
event,
course,
yeah.
like you just enter the scene, maybe want to save up a bit money in here, but I think like I don't know if it's just like for a handful of people, I think you can make it work. I get your point with ESL Pro League, something like this, where you have like actually like I don't know, like a lot of talents. That's high cost for like also like a long period. But I think if it's just like a few days event with a handful of talents, I would always try to, if the teams actually play in the studio, to like also have the talents there. It's like it has like a whole different vibe. The just like the quality of the event is much much higher. And I really hope that not more like events will be like that, because like it could be that it's just the beginning, and then maybe more and more organizers start to have parts of their events like more online, like with the talents and stuff. Because I like how it is so far. It's like I like that the hosts are in the studio, that you have like the casters there in the arena and stuff. It's just like a whole different feeling watching from home. So yeah, we're keeping an eye on that for sure.
For sure. I mean, here's another question for you. I don't know how I'm just curious because I've seen a lot of like talk about this online. Was obviously Fisher chose not to have an analyst desk for their event, right? So they had commentators
Yeah, they had
to
that
host
last
with
year
interviews.
also.
And I mean, that obviously again, I don't know what the decision was, but there is obviously, I'm sure there's a money saving thing. And I think that they replied to Thorin when he was complaining about it on social media, saying it is something that they're looking into, but they're like building up slowly, which I can completely respect. But I'm curious, do you miss not having a desk when it isn't there, or are you indifferent? Because I asked a couple of my mates who just watch Counter-Strike and play it, not people who work in the industry, and they were completely indifferent. They would be upset if there were no commentators and no interviews, but in terms of like an analyst desk, which this is terrible, I'm shooting myself in the foot because this is my job, but they were literally like, we don't really care. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
So I do think if you have like a desk with like a host and analyst, I always prefer to be in the studio rather than like remote. But I kind of understand. I think a lot of people feel like or like don't really watch like this segment with the like analyst part, because they're like more interested in like player interaction, or I don't know, crowd interaction, whatever. Yeah, I think, I don't know. Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, and I don't want to shoot anyone in the foot. It's also like not, I'm not targeting anyone specific, but I think a lot of like a lot of analyst segments just are not like really like worth watching for many people, because you have like often like similar takes or like more like superficial analysis, which is obviously normal because you cannot like look into the comms or don't really know why players or teams do certain things. You can just like assume, because if you don't hear like the comms and you don't know the game plan or whatever, it's so hard to like really make a proper analysis. But I think people would watch analyst this more if you would always have at least one pro or like ex-pro who is like still in the meta, like analyzing with another analyst maybe. For example, like I think this also would make it more worth watching for people, and they would be actually interested in watching that, because they would be like, okay, there's someone who was there, like who literally just played the game recently, who knows why something happens at what time, or like why teams are making these decisions or player making these decisions. I loved having Dupree, for example, sometimes in some segments. And I think if broadcasters would like at least have one of the analysts being like a current pro or an ex-pro, but this ex-pro cannot be any pro. It should always be an IGL or a coach, and it should be someone who also played recently and not someone who played 5 years ago, because the game changed so much in the last 5 years. So if you, for example, even if you take an IGL who was like playing 5 years ago but didn't play like all this time, probably his like the game they played back then is completely different to now. So I think this would be something where people would actually love to watch the desk. And right now it's like, you can listen to it on the side. I do listen to it on the side sometimes, but I personally don't pay 100% attention to it. It would be different if we would have someone like, I don't know, Kerrigan or Blade. Like I would be like this and like listen, okay, what does he have to say, What do you think
agree.
about this?
I mean, so obviously I gotta be careful about not upsetting colleagues now as well. But anyway, here we go. Let's just spit it all out. I've worked with ex-pros that have come straight from sort of playing onto a desk, and there is insight that they bring that it doesn't matter how good you are as an analyst, like you can't bring the same insight, right? That's the first thing.
It's so natural. Yeah.
And also I find, I'm going to give him a shout out because I think Yanko is one of the best in the business.
Yeah, Yanko is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And he has so much insight. But what he's also been able to do over the last few years is he brings in the insight, and he can be very quick to like give that insight more so than most. And he can break down more complex ideas and things. But he also knows how to bring in personality. So he can be, because I think sometimes what happens is, especially with like ex-pros, is they have all this big brain knowledge, but they're just spewing it at you, right? And it's kind of, it can be a little bit like, okay, it's too much, and it's like a little bit nerdy, right? Whereas Yanko has a way of like, he understands how to story tell, which is like a bit more in depth than most people realize, but he can tell the story with the information he's giving you. So I think that there should be a really nice mix between that ex-pro or someone who's had all that coaching experience.
And an analyst, yeah.
But the analyst needs to have a little bit of spice. And I think
that's I've said this, have some personality. Yeah.
I've said this so many times before, but I was like, I remember back in the day, which people might not, when Richard Lewis was desk hosting and Machine, before he commentated, was desk hosting. And you had like Sponge and Moses and Thorin and all of them on the desk and a couple of other people. And like every so often, like a Henry G would pop up on the desk, some of the commentators. And like they had, for me, those desks were the ones that I always watched. Like I wouldn't take a break during the desk because they were like, it was like sitting in TeamSpeak with your mates who some of them play the game much better than you. Some of them play competitively, and everyone's in TeamSpeak just like talking about what just happened. And it was very like interactive and funny. And then you would have Thorin like throw out something really shitty, and you would have Yanko disagreeing with him. And then like Machine would put Thorin down. Like there was all these, like there was so much banter and fun.
We need Thorin back. This would be hilarious.
But that's like, so this is my thing. I was like, you need a little bit of that, like a little bit of silliness. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know if we like all decided we wanted to be super serious or if like talent, you know, like the more and more talent entered the space and everyone got super scared of like not getting hired for work. But I feel like we're all very afraid to say anything now. And now desks, like I'll just say it, like I think desks can be boring. I think people use them for the bathroom break. So I don't think Fisher lacked anything not having a desk. But imagine if they'd had, like, I think they could have had a really like spicy, cheeky desk as well, which is but that's the risk I suppose you take as a TO. But that's, I've always got to be careful because obviously I got to go work with a bunch of analysts. So I would hate for anyone to be like, you think I'm boring? But I do think like having a little bit of, like I said, I just think Yanko is the perfect example of what it's supposed to look like.
I think it's about the combination. You can have also an analyst who doesn't have like a outstanding personality, but then mix it with a pro who has a more like strong personality. You understand? I think it's about the mix. Or you have like an analyst with a spicy personality, and then you have like a more serious pro. You understand? Or like a coach or whatever. I think this would be so good because then you have the balance, and it would be like so interesting for viewers. But I think really like I personally would love if we would always have one part of the analyst being someone who is actually currently in the meta and who's actually like working, like either as a coach or IGL best maybe, or like some player who has like a lot of like voice. So I think, for example, it wouldn't make so much sense like to take someone who is like more like quiet and is like a role player, because of course they also understand the game on a different level, but they probably like don't share the same as someone who's more vocal in the team, you know, who has more like the macro view on the game, you know.
For sure.
So yeah, like this would be amazing, and I think this would make that so much more worth watching. Like, you know, like especially what you say with a mix of personalities.
Yeah. You know what the problem is trying to get a pro or an ex-pro onto the desk, because the majority of them do not want to go into, like, I think this is what people don't understand. Like most of them don't want to go into broadcast. Like it's not really something they want to do. And they especially don't want to do it. Yeah. But even when they retire, like a lot of them are, I think a really good pro who's really good on the desk said to me he didn't want to go back to broadcast. Like that wasn't something he'd want to do. So I think that's also like finding someone who's like, so it's an interesting mix. But what do we like? We will see. I have opinions, but we'll see.
Okay, what did we have else on our game plan? I mean, we wanted to talk about like online in general, like online CS. There's like I
kind of wanted to bring this up. This is like my little ranty rant. So every day when I go on social media, I see complaints about match fixing, cheating. And VRS drama in tier 2, tier 3. And for a while, I took it very seriously because I was like, this is the topic we should all be talking about. And I did so many Feed the Trolls episodes with Messioso trying to talk about VRS. I have done episodes on another podcast called Sell Me This Pro trying to talk about match fixing. And what I realized is people don't care because like no one watches that stuff. Like they tend to, like the content does far worse than anything else. Like if we just do a show called Team Falcon Memes, like people go mad and everyone's watching it. But if we're like, here's a very serious conversation about how VRS is possibly broken, people don't care. Like, And I mean, the VRS thing is one thing, but like the match fixing in tier 2, tier 3, like Donna, that really concerns me. But I just feel like people aren't paying attention.
Yeah, it's bad, and it's like also like not just that, but there's like a lot of like yeah, I mean, there's like always rumors about players or teams radar hacking in online CS, and it's so easy to do that because you literally can do that like nowadays on your phone. I don't know how it did back like a few years ago. I think you needed a second monitor, but now apparently you can put it on your phone. Um, and like how are you gonna control that, And then you just like get the info, and it's not as like obvious as if you have wall hack because you're not looking through walls. You just know where the players are approximately positioned, and this like already can win you the game because like you just like make the right calls and stuff. And there's been like a few allegations for certain teams or players circling and in the scene. And I actually also do follow online CS as well, and it's it's insane. Like it literally that was like a huge issue also at the MRQ, like the online qualifiers for the major, where you had potential like maybe radar hackers or something, like making it there through like maybe cheating. Of course, it's like all allegations because it's like you cannot really prove it. But I think it's like so many like people like speak out about it and have concerns about it. I think there's something onto it, and also like people who actually follow the scene a lot. And if it even comes from other players or coaches, I think that's very suspicious because these people just don't throw. It's not like, I don't know, they lost the matchmaking, so like, oh yeah, he's cheating. You understand? It's like they're doing their job, and I don't think they just like throw allegations like this like for fun, right? Also the match fixing. I mean, a few players have been caught match fixing, and there have been like also teams or players who are like suspicious in that term. It even happened. It was that bad, Sam, that some bookers, like in on some like betting sites, they literally banned certain teams. Like you could not bet on these matches because they were like, even like the betting sites were suspicious of some teams for match fixing, that they just like took them off the books. That's crazy. Like imagine you're like so sus, and you're still free to play all the qualifiers. You're still free to like play all this like tournaments and get VRS points. But when even like betting sites take you off the books because they're suspicious of you being legit, that is insane.
But you know what sucks? Okay, so I might have the information wrong here. So if I do, I apologize. This was something I was reading online. But just before VRS, so a lot of the tier 2, tier 3 organizers who run these online events, right, worked together with the betting companies, by the way, to pick up where all of this like sort of the weird behavior was, right? And like you said, so some of the betting companies would turn around and say like, okay, these teams we know this is sus, like we're not allowing bets on them. They would speak to the tournament organizers wouldn't invite them to events. Like they worked together to go, here's where some of the problems are. And what blows my mind is obviously then VRS comes in, and now all these teams that they've like quote unquote blacklisted, they have to invite because of VRS. So it's like, even though this information exists, we're like bringing them back into the fold, and now the allegations are even worse. But like, I've spoken to so many people about this. How the hell do we fix it? Because it's really hard to prove online, right? Like you can make the accusations, but like, how the hell do we fix the problem?
I think some already, like I know that some you don't see it watching the stream, but some organizers, they require for a camera, not like with your face cam, but they want a camera a bit like that shows your room. That
okay,
shows
that's
like
clever.
your desk, yeah. So this is a good step, but I think they should make a rule where you have a camera that shows you from behind, so that where they can see the monitor, and you cannot have anything on the table except like your gear, so also no phone. I think I don't know if some already did that step, but I know that it's already like ongoing with some organizers, that they require you to like show your room. But I think this would be like the next step, because like it sucks, of course, that you have to do that. But I think there's no other way around, and I think it should be required for everything. Like for every online like tournament where you can get VRS points, that you stream like it to the admins like on a Discord, and you show like your like from a phone or whatever. You show like your monitor and your whole table, and there is nothing else on your table except your gear. it sucks, but it's how it is. And of course, then you have the risk that like the coach could also technically do something, but then the coach also has to do the same. So like you see the coach also like, spectating and have nothing else on your table. That's already like one step to prevent this kind of stuff. Not all of them do it, but some starting it, and I think it should be required. In my opinion, by Valve, if you want your event to count into the VRS system, because Valve is making the rules, right? Which tournament qualifies for VRS, I think Valve should go there and say like, hey, if you want it to count as VRS, this is like needed for all of them. And
I
then
agree. I mean,
it's already the right step. Of course, it will not fix match fixing, because match fixing is like, you can just like throw the game. No one can look into your brain and say, oh, you did that on purpose. So this is like another thing that's like a bit tough, but at least it would maybe solve like this whole like radio hacking allegations.
I agree. So, I mean, shout out to, I do a podcast about tier 2 Counter-Strike and online Counter-Strike with a commentator called B-Dog. And I know we had a conversation around sort of cheating in those onlines. And he said one of the things that they, like he's been working with some of the TOs he works with where like they've also actively, sometimes when they don't have the back camera, but when like the face camera's there and the angle looks off, like pausing a game being like, hey, that camera doesn't look right, or change that. So I think that also helps, is like the commentators are doing what they can to hold everyone into account. And I think the TOs are doing the best they can. Like, I just don't think people realize how difficult it is when everything's online. It's so easy to cheat a system like that. But I agree with you. I think 2 cameras and that becomes the Valve standard. And if you can't supply that, then tough, you don't get to play, right? Like, that's how it should be.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I don't know. I think like if the player can like not afford the second camera or something, then it's up to the org to provide that.
100% agree. Like that.
And I'm sorry, but like you can get a webcam for like $20. Like I
you
think
can get like a cheap phone even and just plug it in and it'll do the same thing. There's no excuse.
It is possible. 100%.
Fixing Counter-Strike. Sept Baddies. That's what we've been doing, Donna.
Make CS great again.
We should get caps. I'm going to make us caps.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would wear that, because like I know a lot of people are not happy with the state of the game, but maybe that's for another talk. Like if we start talking about the issues of the game, we're going to have another hour here talking.
Yeah. I think we had a feel good time with the puppies. Yeah. And then we had some serious conversation, but we don't want to make you sad. Yeah. So we're not going to talk about the state of the game today. We don't want you to leave here sad. We want you to leave here happy. Yes. Right?
So happy news, I think, that we can mention. EliGE going back to Liquid. I mean, you can see it however you want, of course, but I think for him, of course, it's great to go back to Liquid. He has a long history with the org as well. And Liquid to get like I would say a replacement in time for the major, because Twist now went to FaZe, and of course, like big shoes to fill, right?
Is it confirmed? Is that the move? Is that what?
I don't know if it's confirmed. It's rumored, but I think it has to be. Like, there's no way they're not getting him.
Yeah, too many people are talking about it for it not to be him to Liquid.
Yeah,
right?
so I mean, of course, it's like a report only. It's like not confirmed, but. Like for me, it would just like be a no-brainer. Like it's like there's not much time before the major, and if that like Liquid, like so far it looks good that they're making it, and like I don't know. I mean, I don't know who else they should get right now, and I think it's just like a safer call with EliGE. Like they've worked with him together. Like he's experienced and he's available. So I don't know. I think it just makes sense. No.
It is the worst kept secret, because I think we all know it's happening. So like,
yeah, we all know. Come on. I would be surprised if it's actually not like happening. I would be surprised.
It'll happen. I'm curious to see how it goes, because I rate EliGE extremely high as a player. I rate his work ethic. I'm concerned about his personality on teams.
Oh yeah, same.
Because I think he is a perfectionist and he demands the same of everyone around him, and I think sometimes that can rub people up the wrong way. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's just because that's the level you demand, and you don't want to pussyfoot around, and like you are just straight to the points. But I do think that lineup with Shui as IGL, who I think could do a good job of holding the team together. I think Nertz I feel like Nertz has been done dirty and desperately deserves. I think he's so much better than the teams that he's had to deal with since that ENCE breakup occurred.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'd like to see it happen. I don't know
Yeah.
if EliGE is enough for Liquid. I still think that maybe Ultimate we need to. Actually, it's not even. I wouldn't even say Ultimate. Like, I have some question marks around NAF, to be honest, before Ultimate. But, like, I do think EliGE would be good.
Yeah, the thing is, I think with Nav, I think he's very solid, and I think something, I don't know, for me, it felt like something broke his flow, you know, because he was like so consistent and solid for so many years. Like, you know, like, yeah, he always like kept the same positions, whatever, but then I think he started changing some stuff when JKS joined. I'm not quite sure, but I think they switched a few things. But I don't know, like, I feel like someone like Nav, I think he needs like this like consistent like environment, so he like has like his own like, you know, space and like just like does the things he's used to, you know. And I think if like too many things like start mixing stuff up, it's just like a feeling I got, you know. I don't know, obviously, like personally, like what like caused like him to like, you know, become like a bit more shaky at some period, but it's just like, you know, an assumption that I have. EliGE coming in, so I do think obviously EliGE is like a very, very insane rifler. But I think it's good for him that he's getting the shot to like, if it happens, to like play the major with Liquid and not gonna like sit it out. And also Liquid getting like a replacement after losing Twist, which was like their best player. So it's like good for both sides, right? Sorry guys, we had to cut it quick because my microphone ran out of battery. I'm ordering a new one, just so you know. I'm using some wireless microphone and it was not charged. I'm so sorry for that. So what I was saying is that I think EliGE wants things to go his way, and I have like a feeling that Nerds is like similar. And I do think that Shui also has like a stronger idea how he wants to play the game or how he wants to play himself. And I think this can only work if the three of them actually align and are like on the same page on how to play the game. Otherwise, I could see some. I don't actually even think like Ultimate. Like, I mean, yeah, he has like been a bit shaky, but I think if he finds like consistency, he is decent. But I actually see a more problem like between these three. Only if they're not on the same side. If they're on the same page, it could work fantastic. Otherwise, it might be that there will be some clashes, but we will have to wait and see how it's gonna work out in the future with them.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for all the shakeups before the major. I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. We'll have to come back and have a conversation and see how this plays out, Donna.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But now we got Pro League, so we're going to be watching some CS. And obviously, if you've been watching, we'd love to know if there's anything you'd like to talk to us about, what you'd like to see from us. I know someone wanted us to do a whole rate their jerseys. We can do that at some point, like full on Fashion Police episode. There's lots we can do, so let us know in the comments what you want to see and what your thoughts are about what we said today.
100%. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And yeah, always glad to see your feedback, and see you next episode.